Hello and welcome to the GAN project. I am Kedar Nimkar. Today's distinguished guest is Professor Kirti Trivedi, an Indian designer, educationist, and a deep thinker on philosophy of design. I must say, it's one of my favorite episodes and really an enlightening one. In this conversation, we explore the concept of order, not just as a visual arrangement, but as a profound cultural and even spiritual idea. I've tried my best to support the conversation with slides and all the links in the show notes for further reading. If you are a designer, educator, or simply someone who wants to think deeper about how beauty, function, and meaning come together, this episode is for you. Let's begin. Welcome, Kirti sir, to the GAN project, and thanks for giving your time. It's honor to have you on the show.
My pleasure. And you've been very
So,
persistent. So, so thanks.
thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll be nudging very few short questions, hoping that you guide the conversation about your take on order and arrangement from a very philosophical point of view. So if we can start by talking about your assignment in IDC on order system, which was part of the control panel organization course. So we can open up more questions, but if you can start there.
I did engineering, and though engineering requires a lot of order, the word as such did not occur anywhere. But when I came to IDC, there was an assignment as part of the core control panel organization, in which on a rectangular space we had to arrange some dials and knobs and buttons, and it was called order system. And Professor Yashwant Chaudhary is one of the most eminent graphic designers of that time. He took that assignment. The interesting thing was we were not given all the elements together to put in the space. He would give one panel and say arrange it and it should look balanced. Then he will add another element. He said it still look balanced, and he will keep on giving more and more elements, and the trick was it should always look balanced. So we did it, but now I realize, reflecting on it, this was 1970. He was talking about dynamic order, a order which evolves and is always ordered. And this is a deep concept. I understand now. The assignment was from Ulm School. So that was the first thing I came across this idea of order in that assignment. So then came Professor Bonsipi. I do not know if you are aware of them, but he was the main documented and the theoretician of the Ulm School of Design, which has the greatest influence on industrial design teaching all over the world since then. Nearly every school follows that. We became good friends. The Ulm journals, I had republished them for a design education conference. This statement came that in general, we prepare a state of order as compared to disorder. Suppose our table is messy, our room is messy, everything is terrible, and you know someone is coming to meet you. Very quickly, we arrange something to make it look orderly.
Can
So
see.
lots of our assignments, they were all Ulm assignments. Professor Nadkarni, who was the head of the department, had studied in Ulm School of Design, and we basically followed the same pedagogy. So these are, for example, arrangements of perforations or holes in a grill, any grill, whether it's a radio grill or whatever. And the challenge was they should not make sub patterns. The grill should be neutral. This was a Ulm philosophy. So in some of them, you begin to see that you see patterns. Automatically, some image is appearing. But the idea was not to do that. Those who have studied under me in IDC, they will know this statement. I always used to say that you need to know only three things to become a designer. You need
Wow.
to totally understand order, you need to totally understand hierarchy, and you need to totally understand mapping. So order is the relationship between different components. There are many components, whether it's a poster or a book or a instrument or any or a system, a city system. There are many components, and what is the relationship between them, that has to be understood. What is the hierarchy of those elements, which ones are more important and which ones are less important. So in the act of design, we arrange them according to so their relationships become visible and their importance becomes visible. So in such a case, the order which was not visible becomes visible, it becomes self-evident, and that's what we do when you begin a book cover project or a poster project. You get raw text, all same level 12 point text all over, then you redesign, and suddenly according to order and a hierarchy things get changed. And mapping is how you portray that. This is where your personal thing comes. So you can follow standard gates or you can map in a memorable different way. So essentially all design consists of understanding the relationship, the importance of various elements, and then presenting it in a memorable way. This was my thing.
So I am little familiar with Gestalt's qualities. So
Uh,
where do these fit in? Only the first two or all three?
Actually, Gestalt is more a theory how we perceive. So law of proximity, law of whatever, how our perceptual apparatus works and connects things and tries to find relationship. So that's a natural phenomenon based on how we are conditioned to see. We see things in a particular way, and it's very important to know for a culture how they see. So Gestalt takes care of that, but this is an act of design. When you are given a task and you have to arrange in a way that with a given objective it creates a right solution which will show the relation. For example, self-evident means you don't have to explain it, everything is totally obvious. No, like you take a spoon, you don't have to explain which is the handle and where you put and how you hold, it's self-evident. So good design makes itself self-evident. You will not require a user manual, you won't need to figure out how to operate. So that's the difference between Gestalt is perceptual phenomena. Actually, that's how we see, that's how we automatically group positive space, negative space, closeness to each other, all those things.
But do they help in creating hierarchy and creating the mapping or creating the order?
Yes, of course. Next question, and this is something I've been exploring continuously throughout. What is order? IDC about 30 years ago, I had done a major seminar, one-day seminar, looking at how different disciplines. It was called what is order, how different disciplines look at order. So Professor Narlikar came and talked about the cosmic order. A cancer specialist came and talked about the problems of understanding order of cancer, which is like a growth, a sudden growth, and you don't understand what rules are governing. So we cannot control. So we had called like a specialist of all these disciplines. They were recorded, and it was a very interesting seminar. So this is something which was part of a assignment I did every year with my incoming students as part of their foundation course. This is basically to explain the idea that there is not just one kind of order. There are so many kinds of order. And the assignment was all the students in class will take photographs of each other and then arrange them according to different kind of order. So they will create a sequence which is according to alphabetic order of their names. Then they will create a sequence which is according to their roll numbers. Then height, then weight, then how old they are, then how far they have come. Some has come from Manipur, some has come from Mumbai only. So if you plot all of these together, basic requirement of that assignment was many orders exist simultaneously. So we need to decide which order we need to understand in a given situation. And they are independent. There is no correlationship. For example, the youngest student in the class was also the tallest. So there is no correlationship. As you grow older, your height increases. Someone was much taller. He was 6 feet something, but it turned out from his birthday he was the youngest, and somebody who was low actually was the eldest. This is hidden order. You only figure out once you probe that parameter. So it was a very interesting
Yeah. So,
assignment.
sir, if I have to like take a step back and explain more granularly what is order itself, right? Like,
Coming. Actually, what happens? Many things. Like if I ask you, it's an impossible question to answer. I've been trying all my life. If I ask you to explain what is design, you may give many definitions and still you would not have covered what is design. So, order is that kind of situation because it's multifaceted, it's ever existing, and any definition will not cover its whole thing. So, ultimately, at the end of this talk, we will have a better sense of what is order than me attempting to say you use the word granularly. What is order? Design exactly same. What is your favorite definition of what is design?
it's very tough.
Impossible. It's impossible to answer, no?
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
slowly we understand. If you're a designer, slowly we understand because I have a full lecture on it. What is design? And it comes because it's both verb and a noun and an adjective. Something is like beautiful designs, beautiful ornamentation. Something of it is an act. So order similarly. So I'm sorry I cannot give that answer, but we will revisit when everything is done. Bonsipi said state of order is preferable. But if we think, why do we need order at all? Why can't things be disorderly? One of the biggest advantage is unless things are ordered, you can't search. It's a dictionary. Dictionaries are organized alphabetically. If you are searching a word, say journalism, you can randomly search, but if you know the alphabetic order, you can jump to J and O and U and you will very quickly retrieve it. Chinese language is, they are all ideograms. Every letter is a word picture. There is no alphabet. So I used to wonder because just for basic vocabulary, you need to know 20,000 letters and full vocabulary is like very thick dictionary. If we see a word in English, ORDER, we can search under O. But in Chinese ideograms, you see something, you don't know what it sounds, you don't know what it means. So how do you search in this very thick Chinese dictionary? So I asked my Japanese friend, how is Chinese dictionary organized? He said by number of strokes. A letter within the same square can have up to 80 strokes. So it may be for each is just one stroke, then two stroke, three stroke. When you encounter an unknown word, you counter the number of strokes. Then you go to the dictionary when all the letters with those strokes. So you will find your thing, then it will be fully explained. This is the thing. Now, for example, I gave this example of a telephone directory. This is an obsolete example. I think current generation does not know that MTNL every year used to distribute those thick telephone directories, which were, I don't, have you seen them? Which
Yeah,
were
yeah, I've seen that.
alphabetically distributed, and then you will
Correct.
search the name. But now through a search on your phone, you search a name appears. So the all that need to remember the sequence all disappeared. But even that search through digital media is relying on some order to locate that immediately and give it to you. So this is very interesting. Outer order, inner order. Outer appearance. You can wear a mask. You can hide. Japanese people, they are taught from the beginning. I mean, they cultivate this that you will not show your emotions. Whether you're embarrassed or angry or very happy, you keep a. It's like the poker face, no? You don't know if you
Correct.
got good hand or whatever. You don't show emotions, so you don't know nothing. Then you just judge by appearance. Behind that appearance, there is a inner order. That inner order, many times in good design, we design the inner order, which leads to an external appearance. So I don't design externality, I design internality, which develops a face. This is an assignment from Ulm School by Professor William Huff. You can see in this pattern there are sub patterns embedded. That means within an order, and this used to be in codified messages and many things. In one order, you can embed another order. Then to retrieve the embedded order, you will have to filter it differently. Hidden order becomes visible. Professor Bonzipi, there is an article actually, there are two articles. He said a thing looks beautiful if it is well ordered. So design beauty is a function of design order. This is a deep statement because a lot of time the actually in the IDC school we never shape physicality. Shaping physicality is called styling. So Art Center College of Design or many automotive college they just sketch the external form. When according to them when it begins to look sexy, then they go ahead. God does not design appearance. Appearance emerges as a set of correct decisions. To make something which is perennially beautiful, for example, a rose or a lotus flower, never goes out of style, does not look like last season's rose or whatever. No? It's always beautiful. So all natural things, they are orderly by their nature.
Beautiful.
So they are always beautiful. And man-made things, which is current fashion or current trend or current agreement between designers that this is good looking this season. So next season it becomes outdated and does not look as beautiful as it looked previous season. It begins to look old fashioned. So there is a very famous Qawwali by Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. I don't know if you know. I used to play in this class. It talks about Allah bachaye husna walon se. Because beautiful appearance is very deceptive. It masks everything else, and there is a difference between being good and appearing good. And what design should do, according to Ulm philosophy, is make things which are good. No? Appearance is transitory; it will fade, whatever. No? Your be. So,
No, so if I can ask you one small thing, which is my personal curiosity,
hmm,
that I understand what you're pointing to and also what you're like kind of communicating, but is there, if it's ordered, it's beautiful, but there is also some element of aesthetic which consciously should be overlooked, or like it very naturally emerges as beautiful. You know what I mean, when I look at anything, it's the perception. I know that if it's beautiful, then it will emerge out, but there is something going on which I'm not able to explain you.
thanks for this question. It triggers a thought which I forgot to add in this presentation. I should have added. Sori Yanagi is a Zen philosopher and father of Japan's crafts museum and craft movement. And he said it's impossible to design beauty. First, the act of wanting to design makes it artificial. So it
Beautiful.
can never be beautiful because you're trying hard to make it beautiful. The effort shows. I can explain through examples of automotive design or car design. See, in nature, whatever flower or bird or animal, no matter how outlandish it is, a peacock, you never feel that it's not possible. It is full of peacockness. That's what make it peacock. So, but if you take indica or whatever, there is carness. There is a sedan carness or jeepness or whatever. Because it has such a smiley face, you can see all over the attempt the designer made to make it look good looking. So if you can see the maker's hand in something he made, it looks artificial. It looks ugly to me right away because designer trying to impose his sense of aesthetics on the aesthetics of the thing itself, which should have emerged. So, great products are those where you don't see the designer's hand. For example, if you go and see a movie and you constantly notice that camera work is very beautiful, there's something wrong with that film. Actually, a classical giant like Bhimsen Joshi, when he sings, he would not allow his accompanied people to overpower his singing. In classical singing, they used to sit facing inside actually. So he would not like that his tabalji tries to score higher than him, is trying to show that I can play good the play. He will give him an opportunity. Now show what you can do, but not during the show. So
Hmm.
any design where the effort is visible, we're trying to make it look good, is not good. That's what Sori Yanagi said. Impossible to design beauty because the effort shows. So mind of no mind, neither trying to make it beautiful nor not trying to make it beautiful. It just emerges. Then that is natural beauty. So is that okay for
Beautiful. You're giving some
and anytime
existential
you
question.
see, you can judge outlandish fishes or flowers or whatever. It does not look like that they've been overdone. Na? In their
Hmm.
context, they are very beautiful. But you find so many products, you think the designer went overboard. He is projecting his personality over the inner sense of the product. So they all become failures. They disappear after a while. They become outdated. Old products, for example, still look like timeless. So we learned in. So when Bonsipi said beauty is from a designed order, so it's the first time. This is an essay from his compilation that how you quantify order in typography. Normally, we make visual judgments. This looks good. This not doesn't look good. You present also to the client alternate layouts, and you say something about good balance of white space and blank space or whatever. You make such thing. But is it possibly through algorithmically or through preparing rails that you can rules that you can always create beauty? This was the first attempt. Mathematical aesthetics. That means you can generate a algorithm. God has it. It makes everybody, everybody comes out proper looking. He compared two brochures actually, one randomly placed, and in one some physical grid was introduced, and then he analyzed the number of variations, finally reducing. So the more clutter you eliminate, the more
Hmm.
force lines. This we don't see. Every element creates visual forces, and in good design, we try to balance them nicely. So more you reduce or take away conflicting forces, you are not aware, but you put something, it's creating its own zone and a field, and it conflicts with
Hmm.
other things. So it ends up being noisy. So we try to reduce that noise. All this one learns as part of typography or graphic design. How not to make it. From there we come. This is the fundamental how to create order. So I mentioned in the beginning order, hierarchy, and mapping. What are the techniques and methods? So by far the easiest technique or easiest method to create order is to cover disorder. Your room is very messy and somebody coming in next 5 minutes, you put everything under the rug. Or you break a big box, dump everything, your table looks clean. And it's a very common phenomena in product design, especially machine tool design or whatever. So they put boxes outside. They put metal covers which hide all the mechanism. If the inner mechanism was well designed, it could have been left exposed and it will
Hmm.
still look good. But because it's so clumsy and so terrible and it looks like badly designed, the easiest way is to put sheet metal enclosures which look clean, and then you do nice looking graphics and suddenly it appears beautiful. But as soon as you remove the cover, it's no more beautiful because it's not order. This always comes, the order which is visible should be a result of an inner order, and we work on creating the inner order so it creates its own appearance.
I mean, I have a slight digression and we
uh,
can edit this part out if it doesn't make sense. So,
hmm.
I did meditation. I did Vipassana for 4 5 times, the 10-day course. And
I
in
did
that,
twice. I did
oh,
twice.
okay.
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
great
nice,
thing.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So in that, SN Goenka says that when the hair is attached to the body,
Hmm.
the man praises his woman or whatever. Like it's beautiful hair, but the
Hmm.
same hair when detached and found in food,
Hmm.
he he becomes
Exactly.
angry and so on. So are you also pointing to that the inner order is something to do with soul, something to do with spirit? When it's attached, it is lively, it's beautiful, but if it's disconnected, I don't know if I'm making sense, but I'm trying to draw the parallel.
So it's again something I had not thought of, and I'm glad this point has come. So you've done vipassana, and I have spent a lot of time with Buddhist monks. Actually, you don't notice their physical appearance. They just look so peaceful with the world, no? They are
Hmm.
calm, and that overrides every other physical feature. They look at peace with the world, and
Hmm.
this is something, a related concept, being at peace and being very good, being like really top class.
Hmm.
So then also physicality disappears because the excellence within you begins to manifest. So
Hmm.
let's say a sprinter like PT Usha, when she runs, you remember PT Usha, the name, or
Yes, yes.
I'm
Yeah,
old.
yeah, I've
My
yeah,
references
no, no.
another era altogether.
No, no, the same. I've been
Beautiful. She's
in that.
more glamorous than anybody else, no? Because this is a human being performing at the peak most level, and so excellence adds to the era. So
Hmm.
that is why the inner nature shaping this comes from really knowing somebody. One may look physically attractive, but if her nature is cranky or fighting or quarrelsome, once you get to know the person, she stops being he or she stops being beautiful and appears, let's say, bitchy. No, you
Hmm.
see her, you don't see the outer appearance at all. The same person, no physicality, there was no change. So
Hmm.
inner nature has a way to pierce through the external appearance and make its impact. And
Hmm.
you can create a temporary camouflage or a temporary cover to make it look like something, but inner nature shows after a while.
Hmm.
And that's why being orderly, we say dharmic, na? Following
Hmm.
rules. Vipassana also, they impose a physical order on you. Eat only
Hmm.
one time a day, do this, so. It makes a difference actually. Orderly and
Hmm.
dharmic, according to me, are the same word. Dharma is not religion. It's to follow an order.
In fact, I remember one of the musicians, I think Pula Deshpande, said that if the sitar player is well dressed and it's a great setup, but if her sa or if his sa is off, it doesn't appeal
It
no matter how
overpowers
great the
only
setup is.
it overpowers. You cannot camouflage through physicality. And
Yeah,
no
yeah, yeah.
matter how he looks, if it's brilliant, brilliance
Hmm.
surfaces. Through my studies, I've been teaching, I taught a course in IDC since the VC program started in 1983, Indian Thought and Traditions. And then I came across that we have a unique concept. We don't follow physical grid. The Western typography, Western creation, they follow a physical geometric grid. We follow hierarchic and semantic grid. So there we arrange things according to their importance. So
Hmm.
if you see all our images in iconography, main field is the biggest, and then elephant, though it is physically big, everything else becomes smaller, and there is a diagram next to it. So any space, there is a higher plane, there is a lower plane, there is a periphery, there is a center, there is a right hand side, there is a left hand side, and all these decide what should be placed where according to who they are. So always in the bottom, if you see Istuwak and Istuwak, they are like easiest way to explain are chamchas. You know this word? All great
Hmm.
people have hangers on, no? Who just aid. So this is deeply embedded in Indian psyche. If you see political posters, no, Modi ji has to be the biggest. Then
Hmm.
others around. The fellow who actually paid for the banner will be in the bottom line only. And
Hmm.
this is embedded, that scale difference shows the importance of a person.
Wow.
So we don't find anything odd in this. No? This
Hmm.
is how. order should be presented. You have Last Supper by Leonardo.
Hmm.
So very difficult to figure out of all those which one is Christ. Only from the halo maybe, because they all look same. But if Last Supper was done like this, there'll be zero doubt who is the central figure who around whom is story. So we represent meanings better in India through all these conventions and all these orders. I was very fortunate. It was a turning point in my life to learn from Kohi Sugiura in Japan. He's my guru. He changed my whole way of thinking, and his designs, greatest designer ever, according to me. So if you see after this, two more images will come. They're covers of a quarterly magazine
Hmm.
called Ginka, which deals with Japanese crafts. If you try to find out what are the rules of composition, you cannot precisely explain, but they look very beautiful.
Balanced. Beautiful. Yeah.
They look, this is the next. And they also look belonging to the same series. So there are four
Hmm.
different variations. In conventional grid, we will have a common grid. Images will go in one place, title will go in another place. They will look connected. That is using a physical grid. This uses a organic grid and a hierarchic grid. So the biggest story, the bigger, and according to its nature, the image finds its place. We don't pre-decide. We let the content decide where they should be placed. That means when you place, content talks to you. That don't put me on top. I belong to the bottom. So you have that kind of conversation actually design and these results. So that finishes. We come to the next part: complex and complicated. This again, article by Abraham Moles in the Ulm Journal. So actually, if you've seen in jumbo jets cockpit, there are like 300, 400 dashes and dials and all, and the pilot has to interact with all, and they give warnings and what. So our ability to handle many elements, very complex system, is quite large, provided we know the order between them. Then we can grasp, no, we know the relationship, we know what it means, so we can handle a lot of complexity. But when we don't understand the relationship, we call it complicated.
Hmm.
So it just looks like a jumble. We don't know why it's happening. We say it's too complicated, we cannot predict, we cannot understand. So somebody said what we call disorder is simply a order which we have not understood yet. When
Hmm.
you understand, so cancer comes in that category. All the scientists working. So in Ulm School only, Anthony Frossock, he was a architect. On the left hand side is the geographical network of the city, placed like rivers and roads as they are geographically. If we simplify, make it better understand the relationships, we get the diagram on the right side. So we reduce unnecessary information and connect the nodes only. Actually, New York Metro, which Massimo Pagnelli created,
Magnelli. Hmm.
you follow certain rules, and a very complex network becomes understandable
Hmm.
because of the way you simplify. This was also a standard assignment for us in IDC
Hmm.
to understand an order. Suppose I open a human body and you can see all the veins and whatever, they will look like they are jumbled, but they are not jumbled. They make your body function. No, they are very precisely connected, and a heart surgeon knows which is what and whatever. So to understand, you have to show a diagram which makes it understandable. This was the conclusion we reached after that cancer talk in the seminar I had organized. There is no disorder at all. No?
Hmm.
We call disorder something whose order we don't yet understand. Once we understand, it will be. So we take lots of things on faith because it seems to work like that. We don't know
Hmm.
how it works like this. No intuition. You get a gut feeling. No, you don't know why I'm getting. You look at somebody and you don't trust him. There's nothing to tell you. It happens to faculty members like each year we interview hundreds of students and decide which 15 to take in IDC. And we always insist on meeting the person. We don't admit on grade alone, that
Hmm.
whatever they did in the test, we create a rank and give. Some schools follow that system. I don't know what they do in IDC, but till I was there, I insisted on meeting face to face. So when you meet a person, you get a sense when you make eye contact and talk and how you reply. It can be wrong, but somehow it's more informed. If you trust. So how that works, we don't know. Uh,
Hmm. So, sir, does it all, because we also have a definition that music is organized noise, then can we also safely say that there is nothing called as noise? Because if there's nothing called as disorder, then there is also in parallel worlds.
Actually, everything can be patterned, can be put in a pattern. No, so
Hmm.
lot of new music apparently to my ear, bits of noise, and puts them in a order. So
Hmm.
even noise repeated will create a pattern.
Hmm.
And my noise, because cultural preferences, the way you are conditioned, the way whatever, will decide how I relate to something. There is no absolute good or bad. There is no absolute order and not order. No, most people
Hmm.
find India completely disorganized. The way our traffic is chaotic, whatever. Western people, Singapore people, you come back to India and you don't know how it's functioning, what it functions. No, so it's a kind
Hmm.
of chaotic order or order of disorder where everybody is more aware of everybody else around. You know that this fellow is going to cross fast, you know this fellow will not obey all that, so you take decisions based on that. In Singapore, you take decision based on the color of the traffic light, so only one faculty gets activated. This Professor Sugiura pointed out, he
Hmm.
refuses to follow traffic lights in Japan. They are also like Singapore, that if
Hmm.
it's red light, they will not cross. And in the night, there was no traffic from either side for like till you could see. He said, I'm not a robot. And he walked. It's supposed to be a crime. He said, I can see there is no traffic coming. So how this red light dictates my behavior? So if we magnify India's chaotic order, is a higher form of order. It may
Hmm.
look like we can make it like Singapore, but then we will lose Indianness, which also is interesting in some way.
Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting.
So I come to this last point. Actually, square buildings and right angle in our environment, all the tall buildings, window, it's actually a human invention. After postmodernist architecture, after Walter Gropius and his buildings, and then they shaped the architecture everywhere and started making things square. But the property of this shape causes most disorder in the world. And this is very interesting because we are told to follow and respect the square. The reason this question came to my mind, when you go to a forest or a jungle, even though there are leaves falling on the ground, nobody has lived, you never get the feeling that there is uncleared garbage. But in city, you see everywhere uncleared garbage and clutter and whatever. Even though there is a city management, there is a waste disposal system, there whatever, they try so hard to manage, it manages to look quite ugly many times. I found one of the culprits is this square. Because our eyes are so conditioned, if there's a photograph on the wall, like you have a painting behind you, it's like 1 millimeter not right angle, it bothers you. We're naturally conditioned to it being correct in only one position. Where it's possible to control it precisely, everything will look perfect. But imagine setting a table in a restaurant where plates are square, the bowls are square, everything is square. The person setting it will be a nightmare because 1 millimeter it will not look properly arranged. No, well, the same thing does not happen with a circle, because
Hmm.
circle is at ease in any position. It's centered. So that's why in our object
Sundar.
making tradition, in Shilpa Shastra and whatever, God made things are represented by circle, and man made things are represented by square. Square tries to become circle but can never become a circle. So our temples and all, they have this jaggedness, like the
Hmm.
early pixelated graphics. It's a it's a abstract concept that I can reach perfection. I can try to reach perfection, but can never reach. So this is very interesting. Just the symbolism of circle and the square.
Yeah, it's very profound. In fact, like I reminded of one talk by Devdatta Patnaik, and he was talking about typically you have two options in a checkbox, yes and no. But in India, we have maybe. It's always there's a room for.
But Professor Kapila Vatsyayan, she was the original scholar who has
Hmm.
written a book about it, the circle and the square. So finally, we come to Vishnu. Most of these images we see, they are
Hmm.
physical, trying to make physical manifestation of something which has no form. And like you mentioned, there is some order, otherwise there is cosmic order, otherwise the world will not work. If you
Hmm.
pour water, it goes down, things happen, there is gravity, there are so many rules, there is cosmic order. And the name to that cosmic order is Vishnu. So it's a name attached to that. And
Hmm.
then to explain that order, we have three possibilities in creating symbols. So we can do through mantra or beach mantra, or you can do through a yantra or a geometric diagram, or you can make a physical image like a human being of Vishnu. But all of those images try to express attributes of Vishnu. So Vishnu is Shankha Chakra Gada Padma. Everybody knows this, na?
Hmm.
Shankha in one hand and Chakra in another and Gada in third and Lotus on the fourth. So
Hmm.
these are attributes of the cosmic order, the way the world works, not just Earth, the entire Brahmanda, the whole cosmic phenomena
Hmm.
follows these four rules. So Shankh actually is a dynamic growth spiral. So the cosmos is something which is constantly expanding according
Hmm.
to something, and a expanding form creates a spiral. It's the trace. Circle, if form is not expanding and it's rotating, a circle results. But if something is moving in a circular motion and also growing, a spiral results. So
Hmm.
the you say universe is expanding. So world is a expanding phenomena. It's constantly. Then chakra, it's cyclic. It seems to repeat in the same patterns. Then means it's like the gyroscopic motion. It self corrects. When things go wrong, it corrects itself. Just like the governor stabilizes, or in even in your iPhone, there is a gyroscope which senses and creates balance. And all cosmic order as we experience is in time. So it's unfolding. My life is unfolding. I was born in 1948. It's unfolding. And according to God's principle or desire, everything should not only unfold but should also flower. That's why the lotus. Because in flowering, because of flowering comes the seeds, and because of
Hmm.
seeds there is continuity. So it's the desire of the cosmic order that it should continue, and it goes to great effort actually endlessly. There are backups and whatever. Yes, I don't know if you're familiar, but there are 24 names of Vishnu depending on Shankh is in which hand, Gada is in which hand. So they are permutation, which changes the relationship because right hand, left hand, upper and lower, they have four positions, and when you rotate these 24 names result, which will have different properties. So this is what is an avatar. Bhagavan Vishnu said, Dharma Samstha Panarthaya Chambhavami Yuge Yuge.
Okay, okay.
To re-establish order, I will take birth again. So when we make the earth so messy that it looks like अभी इन लोगों से कुछ नहीं होगा, they will destroy. Then he takes form as a physical person and restores the order, whether it's Ram or whether it's Krishna. He makes everything proper again and goes away. So this is the avatar from time
Hmm.
immemorial in the growth, like the evolution. He keeps coming because actually all the worlds, all the planets, all the system, all are products of his imagination. The idea of creating a new cosmos comes from Vishnu, where he's sleeping. Let me make something else. Then he creates another thing. So basically, they are manifestations of ideas he gets. Let me do this, let me do this, let me do this. And then it takes care. So all the iconography of Vishnu everywhere, if you see in Krishna Avatar, he made it self-running. Krishna Bhagavan is under a tree playing his flute and cows are grazing and everything is all right. So he's not disturbed. He created a world which runs beautifully. So this is a self-correcting, self-evolving, perfect order which self-corrects. And this also, I think, can become a goal for designer. So I personally find I'm going to write an article also about this. The concept of restore is a very powerful concept.
Hmm.
Actually, some students had come to me say, "Can you teach us how to create order or how to design?" He said, I said, for 1 month, don't let your mother do the dishes. You do it because within half an hour, from a very messy situation through a planned procedure, she creates a clean kitchen and everything goes back in its proper place. No, so there's a lot of strategy. First to wash, whether to separate, to what, to whatever, whatever. If you do for 1 month, he thought I was joking, but I'm actually telling. So much goes cleaning up the kitchen in the night. No, you're restoring. Why it's so powerful a concept? Because actually it works all the time. Your system hangs, your mobile phone hangs, some software doesn't work. It says restart and restore
Hmm.
to defaults. And mostly Windows also, no, close and start again, it self repairs. But it requires that you must have created something perfect to which it can restore. If you didn't create a perfect order to begin with, there'll be nothing to restore to. So that makes the act of creation very interesting. That we create a system which, if it stops working, just by restarting, you are using the avatar of the original form, it will correct itself. So according to me, anybody designing this becomes a goal, no? To create a perfect order which can be restored, then we are like gods. How do you think? This is my last slide, I think.
I'm just absorbing this. Like I completely connect into all that you said. It's just that I don't have the muscle to start communicating in a way. I completely get it. It's just that I'm mesmerized. Frankly, I'm mesmerized with what you have shared. It's so
Nice
amazing.
to say this. It just proves my point that as Indians, Pandit Narendra Sharma said, the Indian mind is a very mature mind. So we Indians have thought very deeply about these things and how to create, and we discarded most of that wisdom, which was in Shilpa Shastra, which was all the codified knowledge. And Professor Sugera said that consciousness is a continuity. So even if you forgot, if you go back to it, it will come back very fast. That's what happened in my course. No? He said it's in your DNA. You're an Indian. You're carrying the wisdom of India in your mind. Every Indian is carrying. So one of my main attempts is that we start valuing what we have and not consider a model which only looks at the physical and recreating, reshaping the physical. I call industrial design. Instead of reshaping the physical, giving form to ideas. That shift, if we make, we will be really good. So
Yeah.
That's the
But that will be a very very challenging task to explain it to the world that aesthetics could be an outcome. In fact, it shouldn't be in the vocabulary itself, right? Like we are talking about way too levels deeper levels of understanding, and then the manifestation could be just a reflection of what's growing inside and then coming out, right? Like, but sir, all power to you. Thanks for this enlightening,
Okay.
truly enlightening
I
talk.
hope you found it interesting. I think it became longer than we thought, but please
Yeah.
edit as required. I think
See,
it.
as much as I can keep everything together, I'm going to spend a lot of time editing this also, because there's such just amazing gems and so profound thought. So thanks a lot for giving your time and sharing your
Yes, I think
ideas.
overshot by half an hour, but
No, no,
it's
it's
okay.
totally
You can
fine.
edit it to right side.
Okay,
Okay.
sir, thank you once again.
So thank you.
Thanks for watching till the end. From the idea of order in design to deep connections with culture, beauty, and inner self. What stood out for you the most? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the GAN project on our website to stay updated with the latest episodes, and follow us on social media for powerful bites and takeaways from every conversation. All links are in the show notes. See you in the next one.